Back to School COVID Edition, Part 2. Everyone has an opinion about the best way to handle it. We'll talk to some of the decision makers. And how will Washington shape what's on the road over the next decade? We'll catch up on automotive news. Today is Sunday, August 15th, 2021. This is Flashpoint. Good morning and welcome to Flashpoint. I'm Jason Colthorpe, and when Devin is off, I like to talk about the less controversial topics, like masks in schools. This week, we've seen the temperature on this get very high, from state education meetings on down through local school boards. Why isn't there a uniform policy for all districts? And what factors played into the incredibly tough decisions superintendents and principals have had to make? Coming up, we'll talk to three prominent educators to get those answers and their thoughts on what the last 17 months has done to our kids. Plus, vehicles have taken center stage this week as well. The president trying to push through an effort to greatly increase the number of electric vehicles on the road in the next few years. And we may have seen the future of the auto show in Detroit this week, and it's an outdoor event. We'll get our analysts' take on those things and more. It's all this morning on Flashpoint. Kids are returning to school. Some will be wearing masks all the time, some not at all, some have the option. Parents don't want their kids to have to mask up. For the young ones, it's incredibly difficult as it is, but with increasing numbers of kids being infected and hospitalized, the CDC and doctors recommend kids wear masks at school. Let's talk to some of those making the decisions. Superintendent of the state's largest school district, Detroit Public Schools Community District, Dr. Nikolai Vitti is with us. Also with us, Dr. Alina Zachary-Ross, superintendent of the Ypsilanti School District, and the principal of Warren De La Salle, Brother Ken Kalinowski, is here. Dr. Vitti, let me start with you. You've been outspoken since the beginning of the pandemic when it comes to things the state has decided and what you might want to do. Did you prefer to be able to make the decision yourself that everyone wear masks in Detroit schools, or would you have liked to have seen the state step up here?
No, I appreciate the flexibility. I think context matters, and the community you're serving matters, and you have to be sensitive, thoughtful, reflective of what people that you're serving think and feel in this pandemic, and that varies across the country. It varies across Michigan, and so I don't think you can apply a one-size-fits-all approach to anything. Especially how schools respond to a pandemic. So for us, the flexibility to wear the mask or not to wear the mask, I think is the right one. Here in DPSCD, our community continues to be fearful of COVID. We have lower vaccination rates, and we've always been aligned with the CDC recommendation. So we are going to have a universal masking policy at the beginning of the year for vaccinated and unvaccinated students and employees.
And just to follow up quickly, you've had a good support from your school board as well on that, correct?
Correct. Yeah, that was a conversation that we really had privately amongst each other. We were, only a month ago, we were considering a masking requirement only for those that were unvaccinated. But after the CDC released its recommendation that at least indoors in schools, everyone should be masked, we move forward with that recommendation rather than considering the differentiation.
Yeah. Dr. Zachary-Ross, I want to bring you in here. In Ypsilanti schools, you also have a universal masking policy. And I know some of the things parents will point to when they don't want their kids to wear a mask is they think of health concerns, behavioral concerns. You've had this in place for a while. How would you say the kids in your district are adjusting to it?
The students have been so resilient during this pandemic, and they have been wearing the mask. We take mask breaks. We've seen that they come in now. It's a part of their habit and the routine. So they know that this is what's expected, that we haven't seen any behavior challenges. We've always had an online option. We'll have that option next year as well if there are people who have health challenges and who are not able to mask. Yet everyone in our community has rallied around this, knowing that we want our students in school. We want to use several mitigating measures, and this is just one of them.
Brother Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, your school, De La Salle, masked up last year and ended up being in person for a good chunk of the year, other than when the state forced you not to be in person. This year, masks are optional. Do you feel that normalcy is important or more important than safety here?
I feel normalcy is important. Safety, no. Safety is just as important. We will still have hand sanitizer in every room. All the desks will be washed after every class. The boys will be socially distanced. We have a large building, and we used every ounce of space to move the desks 3 to 6 feet apart. We did get parents who said, hey, it's my son, my choice. We also did get, you should have them mask up. So what we've asked is all of our faculty, they must prove that they've been immunized. Otherwise, they will be required to wear a mask. That's one. The other bit is we are following the directives of the Archdiocese of Detroit, as well as the CDC, their recommendations that put things in place as safe as possible. I agree with Dr. Ross. Our students have been resilient, and I agree with Dr. Vitti that a one-size-fits-all policy just is impractical, because we know, like our country, it's very divided as far as what side do you want to pick. We have found that last year we did offer virtual learning. Less than 4% of our students were virtual. Parents brought their boys to Catholic school, especially De La Salle, because we were in person 5 days a week. We had all our classes. We did not have a COVID outbreak here. And we proved that we can do it safely. And by and large, students are resilient. Students will do whatever you want. They're very happy just to be here, and they realize the parameters. So if you have to space out for the greater good, that's not a problem. And oftentimes it's we as adults who say, well, why is someone making me do this? Mm-hmm. I found our students to have, last year was the least number of complaints or discipline problems than we ever had. They were just happy to be with one another. And I think sometimes it's like we're forced to take a side, and instead of what can we do together.
Yeah, it's tough. And it's funny that you bring it up, because I know we've seen a lot of school board meetings where parents threaten to, I'm going to take them out of this school and go here where I know they're going to be in person. It's interesting that you've seen an influx. And I'm glad you brought up the divided nation part of this. I wanted to ask you all this, and I'll start with you, Dr. Zachary Ross, about when you talk to, your universal masking there, when you talk to a parent who passionately declares that masks are not necessary, what do you say to that parent?
We've been very fortunate because we've been so consistent in our community where we haven't reached that level where parents have been adamant. If there had been about medical choices, we give them options. We talk about those choices. Yet, as we begin the school year, in this county anyway, we are at that significant level. And that's that same level that we ended up beginning the year last year. So if we look at where we were and the decisions we made based off of the data, we will be wearing masks if this were last year. And so when we bring the data to them and they've seen the information we've constantly communicated about what the CDC has recommended, our Washtenaw County Health Department also strongly recommends, even at this level, that there's universal masking. Most of the parents understand. And they understand this. Most of our students in our district are under 12 years old. And so this, by everyone wearing masks, we are thinking about those who don't have the opportunity to be vaccinated, as well as those who are vaccinated, who unfortunately, due to this breakthrough virus of the Delta variant, we're seeing that even vaccinated folks have the spread. If there's universal masking, they can stay in school, and there's options to have that sense of belonging that Brother Ken talked about. All of our students just want to be together. They want to have the interaction. They want to be in school.
Yeah, and I'm guessing you're all prepared to go back to virtual if and when possibly you need to, and it's the most difficult in your district, Dr. Vitti. I just wanted to ask, do you have anything up your sleeve if the in-person aspect of this has to take a break and you do have an outbreak?
So we dealt with outbreaks last year with running 100 buildings. 50,000 students at scale, but knowing that only about 10 to 12,000 students came back in person regularly last year, we managed through positive cases and outbreaks. We only had 20 outbreaks, which on the surface may seem a lot, but when you consider 100 buildings, it's rather minimal. And when we had few outbreaks, because we followed CDC guidelines on mitigation strategies, from masking, cleaning, and late spring, we introduced weekly testing, which we're going to incorporate in the fall. And all employees, vaccinated or not, all students, vaccinated or not, will be tested every week. And we'll continue to test our student athletes once a week as well. So, we're doing everything that the science says to mitigate the spread and keep people safe. But to your question, if we do have to shift in a quarantine situation, all of our students now have access to a laptop with internet access. All of our curriculum last year was shifted to an online platform. And now our teachers are more comfortable teaching online. Our students are obviously more comfortable learning online. So in a quarantine situation, that class or group of students would go home for probably 14 days based on the current city health department guidelines, learn from home. If they're not showing symptoms, they come back. And if district-wide or an individual school has multiple outbreaks or the infection rate continues to climb, then we shift to online learning again, and due to the reality of last year, we'll be ready to do that.
Yeah. I have about 30 seconds for each of you to give me an answer on this. It's just an open-ended question. You've been talking to parents for these 17 months. What's the biggest observation maybe you've made, or the biggest takeaway from start to finish with this? Brother Ken, I want to start with you on this.
I have to tell you, our theme last year, I had to think long and hard, was faith-filled flexibility. The idea that we're here for our teachers and our students, and we're going to have to make choices and sometimes pivot. All of a sudden, we're going to have to go to virtual if we have to. Or guess what? We're not eating in the cafeteria, we're eating in our classroom. We went cashless for lunch. But just know that we're doing the best that we can for the students entrusted to our care.
Dr. Zachary Ross, what have you learned in all of this?
Our motto in our district is stronger together. And we've learned through this pandemic that it's more important than ever that we're stronger together, that we're partners with our parents, we're partners with our community where we had learning labs. We are partners with our university next door, EMU. And so this year, we're going to lean into those partnerships. If we have to pivot, then we'll do so collectively as a partner with the parents, a partner with our students in learning, because we certainly are stronger together.
Dr. Vitti, I know you've probably, like everyone, have had countless conversations with parents. What always keeps coming up? What are you always trying to convey?
I would say on a personal level, leadership level, I've really learned the virtue of patience. This last year. That's on a personal level. But I think what our community was reaffirmed to know and knew before emergency management, but I think the sense of trust improved, our relationship with the community improved, and everyone was reminded about how important traditional public education is. We fed over 1 million families at the height of the pandemic, passed out 50,000 laptops or devices with embedded internet, creating hubs, and repaired almost 30,000 devices that were broken or lost. And so I think everyone just was reaffirmed about the importance and value of traditional public education, that no matter what's happening, government through the public school system can serve families and children, especially best in the educational space. And I think that was an important lesson and a reminder and a point of pride for a lot of Detroiters.
Well, I certainly wish all three of you the best of luck as students head back and in your challenges that you all certainly will have this school year. Thanks again for joining us this morning, and to all my guests. We'll be back to tackle the latest from the automotive world next on Flashpoint.
Power with its innovative cooling system, which keeps you cool throughout the night. Serta selected Gardner White for their exclusive launch. Because you can sleep on it tonight with 0% financing up to 72 months with no down payment. And in stock and ready for free same-day delivery at just $1 a day. This is why we are Detroit's #1 mattress store. Gardner White.
The environment is so friendly. Always feel like home.
We have so much support from the staff. You meet people who are like you.
I always had a passion to help others, so this is the perfect place for me.
You're not afraid to reach out. Flora Kiwang, Cameroon.
Makrit Shunga, Ethiopia.
Javed Khan, Bangladesh. Dennis Kerr, Bosnia and Herzegovina.
They give you what you need for the future.
Okay, Detroit, here we go. Back to the office, school, our usual routine. But will it truly be back to normal? Monday morning at 6:30.
The transition back to in-person classes can be jarring for kids. So who better to turn to for back-to-school secrets than teachers themselves?
What is your best advice, your tips and tricks for coming back to school?
Nick Monticelli reveals their lesson for parents.
Local 4 News Today is bringing you the stories you need to help you get back to it. Monday on Local 4 News Today. Facts have never been more important than now. They can mean the difference between life and death. Rely on the Trust Index, your first line of defense against disinformation. Just look for the seal. It's true means it passed the test and we can back it up. Not true means it's fake. Don't trust it. And be careful means it's not entirely right or wrong, but could be risky. In the battle against disinformation, no fact is off the table. If it seems suspicious, send it to us and we'll get answers. The Trust Index, only on Local 4 and Click on Detroit.
Welcome back to this edition of Flashpoint. Let's say hello on this Sunday morning to 2 of our favorite auto analysts. First, Stephanie Brindley is a senior auto analyst with IHS Markit, and Sam Abel-Samad is with Guidehouse Insights. Let's start with electric vehicles. I was at the unveiling for the Ford Lightning a little while ago, the F-150. And I was blown away by this. You guys probably see these events all the time, and it maybe becomes, second nature. But I just felt like if you can't fall in love with that, you're heartless. But President Biden wants to see half of new cars sold by 2030 to be like the Lightning, electric. Stephanie, how possible is that for us to do?
Oh, there's still a lot of things to be resolved. And actually, to be clear, it's electric, but it's also plug-in hybrids are included in that 50%. And a plug-in hybrid would have a gas engine that also supports the vehicle as well. But we have a lot of infrastructure things to resolve. We don't have a robust charging network to support people as they move about with these vehicles. A lot of the charging will be done at home, but you're not always at home. And we still have consumer confidence and consumer sentiment to get involved. There's definitely interest in electric vehicles, but there's still a lot of uncertainty about it too. And there's a lot of consumer education that needs to happen so that they understand why it's different.
Sam, let me bring you in. Stephanie touched on it a little bit. Some of the would allocate $7.5 billion for EV charging stations around the country. That's, of course, if it makes it into the final bill. Is that aggressive enough of a goal to make his other goal possible?
I think it's definitely a start. Whether it's aggressive enough is unclear at this point. I think part of the problem is so far there hasn't been enough EVs out there for any of the EV charging network providers, companies like EVgo, ChargePoint, Electrify America, to actually be profitable. They don't get enough use of their chargers, and obviously that will change as the number of EVs out there grows. And as that happens, they will also continue to invest more in expanding their networks. So I think it's a good start, and it'll hopefully help jumpstart the build out of the charging networks, because that's going to be essential. As Stephanie said, right now a lot of EV owners do charge at home, but going forward, as you expand beyond those early adopters who are the people that are buying EVs now, and get to more mainstream audience, people that most consumers today don't buy new cars, they buy used cars. And as you start to expand into that group, now you're talking about a lot more people who don't have access to off-street parking at home, and they will be relying on public charging. So we do need to dramatically ramp up the public charging infrastructure to enable the rest of the the driving public to be able to use EVs.
Yeah, if the president can't get that $7.5 billion, could you see him pushing this
target date back, Sam?
Probably not. I don't think that they want to do that. I think they're going to try and stick with that, and maybe find some other way to help jumpstart the expansion of the charging networks.
Yeah. Stephanie, the chip shortage, we're still dealing with that. I know it's coming back. It feels like we're on the back end of that a little bit. What sort of effects are you still seeing that automakers are going through with this?
Yeah, we should be on the back end of that, although third quarter is probably as bad as first quarter. And it's really going to be into 2022 before production normalizes. So right now we just really tight inventories, and we're going to continue to balance with that. And another element of the chip shortage too is that there are continual things interrupting. I mean, for example, Malaysia has locked down, and there's a lot of processing that happens there. And when those manufacturing processes go offline unexpectedly, they still have to scramble a little bit more. And I think one of the problems is a lack of visibility into the full scope of the situation, compounded by unpredictable continued interruptions.
Yeah. I wanted to get your guys' reactions to the Motor City car crawl, by the way, last week in downtown Detroit. It drew some surprising numbers of people, and I think it ended up much bigger than most originally thought it was going to be.
I will say that, consumers and people are looking to be outside. We haven't had an auto show in Detroit for a long time. We're an area that loves auto shows and that loves cars. So I would expect some good turnout and some happiness and joy to be able to be doing something outside again.
Sam, could this actually coexist with the North American International Auto Show, or dare I say even change how that works? The outdoor aspect of it in an era where we're dealing with a pandemic seemed to kind of be a home run.
Yeah, well, that was actually part of what was planned for the 2020 show, which obviously never happened, was to have a lot more things going on outdoors outside of the convention center, on the streets in Hart Plaza and other areas around downtown. So some aspects of what they did for the car crawl were supposed to happen and probably will continue to happen. They wanted to have more interaction, more interactivity for attendees, the opportunity to do potentially some ride and drive programs, some demos of various technologies. So I think we will see, if and when the auto show does return, I think we will see them trying to do some of these sorts of things like what they did with the car crawl as an ongoing part of the program.
Yeah, and obviously not having charity preview was a setback for a couple of years. It'd be nice to get back to some of that normalcy. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Yeah, to throw in there too, I mentioned that one of the issues with electrification, some of those outside and touch points, builds a platform for being able to educate consumers on what electric vehicles really mean over time. So these events can become more important as cars get more complicated. You've got another platform and a way to educate, which is a pretty neutral space. So I think they can evolve into something pretty important for the industry.
Yeah, you can never go wrong when people can get up close with one of the fancy new vehicles or vehicles of the future, that's for sure. Guys, thanks so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it. We'll be right back to wrap up this edition of Flashpoint in a moment.
At Kroger, we take scrutinizing freshness to a whole new level, where only the best of the best of the best will do. But just because you can't get any higher than perfect 10 produce, that doesn't mean that we won't try. Because Kroger produce isn't just fresh, it's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I didn't know I had a case.
I figured I could just take care of it later.
The hardest thing is telling someone you waited too long to pursue a claim.
But it happens all the time. Not knowing the legal system and the benefits.
575 EP Law, where winning is no accident.
It's a new day, and it's coming at you fast. It could be the day your workforce doubles, or the day your visitors quadruple. With Comcast Business, you'll be ready, with the flexibility to control multiple Wi-Fi networks from anywhere, all on the network that can deliver gig speeds to the most businesses. Every day in business is a big day. We'll keep you ready for what's next.
Get started with a great offer for $35 each a month when you buy both. Want even more speed? Ask how to get 10 gigs for your small business. Call today.
This time, our delicious, crispy, hand-battered chicken comes in piece. 8-piece. Try our nuggets today and start earning points with Popeyes Rewards.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Heart and soul of the city are the people, don't you know? We are strong. We are Detroit. We are strong. And we are how sweet the sound. Strong. We are Detroit. And we are strong.
Been a great conversation this morning, and I again want to thank our guests for talking education and what our kids are going through as they go back to school this fall. And of course, we got into the automotive industry and what that's going to look like. If you missed any of our conversation this morning, we have it posted at clickondetroit.com. Thanks for watching Flashpoint. Devin's back next week. Meet the Press is next. Go have a great Sunday.